Some people find peace in crowds, others in the quiet hum of their own thoughts. For them, silence isn't empty. It's full of meaning. The world calls it loneliness, but they know better. In solitude, they hear the faint pulse of their own mind, the part that gets drowned out in noise. "I'm not lonely," a voice says softly. "I'm just recharging." That's the truth about those who like to be alone. They aren't escaping the world, they're returning to themselves. Psychology calls it self-regulation, but in simpler words, it's a homecoming to your own peace. Solitude becomes their mirror, their sanctuary, their medicine. Because when the world falls silent, the self finally begins to speak. When the noise fades, something remarkable happens inside the brain. Neuroscientists call it the default mode network, a system that awakens only when we're alone, the same system responsible for reflection, imagination, and emotional healing. In solitude, your brain isn't idle. It's repairing, rewiring, creating. It's strange, she thinks. I think clearer when no one's around. In those quiet moments, creativity surges, empathy deepens, and ideas that never had space begin to breathe. Solitude becomes not just an escape from distraction, but a return to depth. The silence sharpens the edges of thought, turning confusion into clarity. And just when the mind feels still, a new question arises. Is being alone the same as being lonely? There's a thin line between the two. Loneliness is emptiness that aches. Solitude is fullness that restores. One drains you, the other renews you. "People think I'm isolating," he says with a faint smile. "But I'm just listening to my own peace." That's the paradox few understand. The more comfortable you become with your own company, the less desperate you are for others' validation. Solitude teaches you to stop seeking noise to prove you exist. In the quiet, you begin to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. Loneliness fears silence. Solitude befriends it. And when you cross that line, something inside you shifts. Fear turns into freedom. Most people run from their thoughts, afraid of what they might hear. But the brave ones sit with them. They don't fight the silence. They enter it. "Silence used to scare me," she whispers, "until I realized it was me, talking." In solitude, you meet the parts of yourself you've been avoiding, your doubts, your dreams, your hidden truths. It's not always peaceful. Sometimes it's raw and revealing, but that's where transformation begins. What once felt like emptiness becomes intimacy, a connection deeper than any conversation. You learn that being with yourself isn't lonely. It's liberating. And for the first time, you stop seeking escape and start seeking understanding. The real test comes when the noise returns. When life rushes back with its endless demands, distractions, and expectations. "You've changed," they tell him. He smiles. "I've just become quieter inside." That's the power solitude gives, the ability to carry peace into chaos. You stop reacting to noise and start responding with clarity. The same world that once overwhelmed you now feels softer, slower, easier to navigate. Solitude doesn't make you distant, it makes you present. You begin to engage not from emptiness, but from wholeness. And when storms come, you don't fear them, because you've already found shelter within. Every thinker, artist, and visionary who changed the world shared one secret. They mastered solitude. Einstein called it his laboratory of thought. Da Vinci used it to imagine worlds unseen. In silence, he once said, ideas whisper, and the wise ones listen. Solitude is not avoidance. It's awareness. The quiet moments are where genius is born, where intuition speaks, and where the mind connects dots others can't even see. The power of being alone is not in isolation, but in creation. It's the birthplace of innovation, insight, and emotional mastery. The more you embrace stillness, the more the noise of the world starts to make sense. In the end, it's not about avoiding people. It's about meeting yourself. The world will always be loud, chaotic, demanding, but peace isn't found by running from it. It's found by returning to stillness. "The world is loud," she whispers, "but I've learned to listen within." That's the ultimate form of strength, to stand in silence and still feel whole. Because solitude isn't loneliness. It's the art of being complete even when you're alone. And when you learn to be at peace with your own company, you stop chasing love, success, or validation. You simply become. Share this with someone who's learning to find calm in the chaos. Someone who's discovering that being alone can be the most beautiful way to be alive.